Hi everyone, welcome back to Study Knits. My name is Allie. I am a resident physician living in New York City, and this is my channel where I talk a lot about knitting. Welcome. If you're new here, welcome back. If you've been here before, happy to have you either way. This is podcast number 17. I usually follow a normal podcast style where I talk about my life updates and then I talk about my finished objects. I have 4 of them. I talk about my works in progress. I have 2 of them. And then I talk about acquisitions and future plans at the end. I have no acquisitions today, but I have a couple of future plans I would like to talk about. And then I do a little media review at the end where I talk about things that I've been watching and reading and doing recently. So yeah, I'll just go ahead and get started if you guys are okay with that. In terms of life updates, I don't really have any. All of my life updates last year, I feel like, or at least the past couple of episodes, actually the majority of my podcast episodes have been where I've been living because during my 4th year of medical school, I basically moved every month. And so that was my life update, was like, I'm in a new place, this is where I am. And now that I live somewhere, my life updates are a little less exciting. I have been getting back into the knitting groove a little bit. In my last podcast, I was talking about how it was just really, really hot here in New York City. I wasn't wearing my knits really anywhere, and so I was unmotivated to knit and work on my projects. Now it's cooling off a little bit. It's quite nice. I'm a little more motivated to wear my knits because it's bearable outside, and thus I'm more motivated to work on my knits and to actually knit. So that's great. I didn't get a lot of knitting done the past 2 weeks. I was on a pretty time intense rotation. I was very busy the past 2 weeks. Now I'm back on my on-service rotation. So basically I'm rotating in my matched specialty, my chosen specialty. So it's inherently a little more chill because I like it. I'm excited to go to work and I'm a little bit better at it because it's what I do. It's what I want to do. It's what I've been doing. So I have a little bit more knitting time now, all that to say. I start in a couple of weeks. I have a week of vacation, and then I have 4 weeks of the worst rotation of my first year. So that's not fun, but either way, I'm getting it over with. So I'm trying to get this podcast done, and then hopefully I can record another podcast before I start my really rough rotation. And then you won't see me for a couple of weeks while I'm doing that. And then I'll be back. That's my plan. We'll see if it pans out. Either way, that's it for the life updates. So I'll start telling you about my finished objects. And if you watched my last podcast, you know that this was a work in progress during the last podcast, and now it is a finished object. This is my Lacey loop tee by Other Loops that I modified to have long sleeves. I knit this using Knitting for Olive pure silk in the color Olive Held Double. And I knit it on, what size needle did I use? Let's check. I used 4mm for the body and 3.5mm for the cuffs. I took very detailed notes on Ravelry for how I did the sleeves. So if you're curious about the logistics of how I did the sleeves, it is over there on Ravelry. If you have questions or you're confused about it, please feel free to DM me on Ravelry, leave a comment on my Ravelry page, or Instagram DM me if you have questions about the sleeves, if you yourself are trying to make it with sleeves. Okay, all that to say, that's logistics out of the way. I won't talk you through exactly how I did the sleeves just because it's written out on my Ravelry, but overall, I'm quite happy with this. What size did I make, you ask? I made the size extra small. I talked about this in my last podcast, but the sizing of Other Loops patterns are just so weird. They're all designed with 30 centimeters. At least a lot of the sweaters and tops are designed with 30 centimeters of positive ease, which I personally was not really interested in. So I made the size extra small, and that still gives me a pretty decent amount of ease. The other modifications that I made, besides making it a size, 2 sizes smaller than what my bust size called for, I did an extra repeat here, an extra pattern repeat here, so that my armholes would be wider, because I knew that if they started here, they would be, yeah, look at that, that would be way too small. So I made the yoke part a little bit longer on the front and the back. And then I obviously added long sleeve because this is a short sleeve pattern. So I chose decreases. I want to say I decreased every 5 or 6 rows depending on the pattern. I didn't decrease on certain pattern repeat rows because it was awkward. So I decreased every 5 or 6 pattern repeats. Oh my god, it's already starting to pill. That's unfortunate. I worked a total of 19 decreases, which was a lot. I think I decreased too much. The sleeves are a little smaller than what I would have liked, especially compared to the body. I feel like the ease in the body does not match the ease in the sleeves, and that bothers me a bit. However, it's like, I think I'm just nitpicking it because I personally made the adjustments and I personally like designed the sleeves in a sense, so I'm being more critical. Overall, it's perfect. It's not too long. I feel like it blocked out very well, and overall I'm very, very happy with adding the sleeves. I used about 8 1/3 skeins, so that is 418 grams of pure silk for this. And it was held double. It was delightful to work with. I very much enjoy working with knitting for all of pure silk, especially on metal needles. I really enjoy it, and held double, it knits up very, very quickly and is a nice fabric. I've worn this, and then I also this summer made the Blouse No1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Also in knitting for all of pure silk, held double. I've worn both of them out and about a couple of times now. I like it overall, but it does feel kind of odd on the skin. It feels kind of heavy and damp. I'm not sure if that's just a me thing with how I feel like it wears, or if that's a common, like a common experience when wearing knitting for olive pure silk, or just any silk. This is, I think, the only silk project that I've made that I actually wear. Like knitting for olive pure silk is the only silk yarn that I have knit up in a project that I actually wear on my skin. So I'm curious to see if other people feel the same way. Overall, it is comfortable to wear, and I have enjoyed wearing this. I've worn this out now twice since finishing it. I wore it over a tennis dress. It was very cute. And then I wore it as like a layering piece with a simple white t-shirt and jeans. And both times it was very cute. It was very easy to carry around. It was cute to drape over the shoulders. So this is actually like an incredible transitional season piece, I'm realizing. It's about 70, it's been in the 70s Fahrenheit here all week. And that's when I've worn it. And it's been absolutely perfect for layering. It's been perfect, I pretty much use it for layering. But it's great, and the holes make it like very breathable, so it's not super suffocating. I'm very, very happy with this. I would absolutely consider making more of these with bigger armholes. I did mention earlier, I just discovered it. There's already a little bit of pilling on the pure silk. Like right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's pilling a little bit, which is surprising. I didn't anticipate it pilling. It's not that big of a deal. It's just pilling. But yeah, I love this. I got lots of compliments. I wore it to like the weekly resident meeting that we have, and I got lots of compliments on it, which made me happy. And people were surprised that I knit it, which is always a great feeling. So yes, overall I love it. Oh, the neck. I know what I want to talk to you guys about. The neck. I accidentally modified the neck. I made it rolled on accident. It calls for just it to be worked. I made it folded. It calls for it to be just like a single layer, and then you do an Italian bind off. I didn't realize that, and I made it folded and literally seamed it down and then checked the pattern and realized I wasn't supposed to do that. I like it overall. I do feel like it's kind of clunky and it kind of sticks up and doesn't lay flat. So I'm considering unseaming it and then just doing an Italian bind off. I would love to know what you guys think about it. I'm kind of on the fence, mostly because it would be a lot of work. I'm not completely dissatisfied with how this looks. I like it that it won't stretch as much because a folded collar, like this is a stiff, like thick collar. I know it won't stretch as much. It'll hold its shape a little bit more. Let me know what you think. Here, I'll unclip my mic so that you can like actually see what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Just, did you see what I mean? It kind of sticks up a little bit on the sides, and I feel like it's kind of trying to like take off and like lift off from my neck, which I don't like. I want it to sit like very flat and look like a little stretched because it's not a turtleneck. So let me know what you think. Would actually love some opinions. Ugh, okay, let me clip this back on. I actually think that's all I wanted to say about this. Okay, next up, as part of my destashing, this is a very, very exciting thing. This, I will just show you part of it because I can't show you all of it. This is a table runner. As you can see, it's quite long. I have no idea how long it is. I will fold it in half and then you can see how long it is. This is it folded in half. How much is it folded in third? It's like maybe 30 centimeters. I would say this is it folded in eighths. This is like 20 centimeters. So 20 centimeters times 8 is like 160 centimeters. I would say it's like 160 centimeters long. It's a very long. I knit this using Knit Picks Dishy in the color navy. I knit it on a 4mm needle, and this pattern is a free pattern. It's called Scalloped Table Runner by Amy Stender. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I absolutely love this. This was so delightful to knit up. It knit up so quickly. How long did it take me? It took me 5 days to make this. Granted, I wasn't working during those 5 days. I got the hang of the pattern repeats pretty quickly. I will show you if you can see it here. The ends are flat. There is someone on Ravelry who wrote out instructions for making the ends curved in kind of the way that the pattern looks. So if you're interested in that, someone on Ravelry has done that and has pretty detailed instructions for how to do that on Ravelry. I chose not to do that because I was lazy. I used 2 full skeins. That was what I had in my stash. And one end has, I think this is the end where I started with, that has the correct amount of garter stitch beginning. And this, actually maybe, yeah, this has less garter stitch because I ran out of yarn. Oh well. I have literally no yarn left over, and this is actually the perfect length for my table. My table's a bit of a mess. I was going to take a picture of it and post it on Instagram, but my table's kind of messy and I don't feel like cleaning it off right now. So if by the time I'm editing this, I've gotten around to taking a picture of my table with this runner, I will include it, but it fits my table perfectly. Super easy pattern repeat. I want to say it was a repeat over like 16 rows. So super, super easy to get the hang of, really, really fun to knit on, and really fun to knit on, with like a thick gauge. I want to say the Dishy is at least worsted weight. Yeah, Dishy is worsted weight, so it was fun to knit on. I did start making this. I started this pattern using a fingering weight yarn, and it was taking me forever. I was getting really frustrated with the yarn overs. I was messing up a lot, and I was like, you know what, it's gonna take me years to make a fingering weight like a fingering weight table runner, so let me just use this and make it with worsted. So I did. It looks so cute on my table. I love it. I've also seen people on Instagram using these as like little runners for their dressers, desks, on coffee tables. You can also, I've seen someone basically work like this much of it, but make the, let me turn it on so you guys can see this rude of me, work like this much of it, but make the stockinette really big in the middle and make table, like a table setting. What's that called? Yeah, like a table setting thing that you put down, and it looks really cute, and you put your plates and your utensils on it, and it looks really cute. It looks very posh. I've seen people do that with this on Ravelry, but yeah, this is a great pattern. A great way to get rid of 2 skeins of Dishy that has been in my stash for years. So yeah, highly recommend this pattern. Highly recommend using this to use up your scrap yarn. So that's it. I think that's all I wanted to say about that. Another exciting thing. These were almost done in my last podcast, but these are my Chiefs socks. Go Chiefs. And these are, the pattern is from Kate Atherley's book, Custom Socks Knit to Fit Your Feet, which I love. I've talked about it many times. These are the toe-up socks. I talked about in my last podcast, toe-up versus toe-down socks, my thoughts on that. My thoughts are unchanged after finishing these. I want to say I finished these socks like a day or two after recording my last podcast where I talked about them as a work in progress. So it's these are a little bit like foggy in the memory. I feel like I said everything that I wanted to say about it in my last podcast. If you notice, astute people will notice that one toe is yellow, the other is red. I like the way this looks better than this. And I learned that from making these socks. I feel like that's it. I haven't worn them yet. It's still a little toasty. I'm in a fantasy football league for the first time this year. And our draft is coming up. So I was going to maybe wear these to the draft if it was weather permitting. We'll see. We'll see. Would love to draft Travis, but I'm also very competitive, so I want to win. I have not blocked these, nor did I block my other pair of socks. In Kate Atherley's book, Custom Socks Knit to Fit Your Feet, she recommends not blocking your socks. She was like, they block as you wear them. Why? So there's no need to block them. And so I said, okay, I will not block them. So these will remain unblocked. They look a little not great right now, but, oh my gosh. I also didn't say what yarn I was using. I'm so out of it. I'm so sorry. I used Surella nylon silk. No. Surella nylon sock yarn. Oh, hello, Agnes. We have Agnes here. I don't know if you can see her. She's come to say hello. Say hello. Oh, big cat. Big cat. Say hello. Say meow, meow, meow. Oh. Okay. Surella nylon sock, and this is from a one-day only sale during the Super Bowl in 2024, I want to say, and it's called In My Chiefs Era. It's Chiefs colors. I added this like white right here. This is Knitting for Olive in cream, I want to say. I added the stripes just to give it kind of a sporty look. I had planned, but then forgot to make the changing of the colors here. I plan to make them on opposite sides so that when you wear them, you could wear both of where the jogs are, you could wear them facing inward, so they'd be less obvious. I know there are ways to knit jogless stripes. I've done them before. I liked them. At the time that I was knitting these, I was out at a meeting, and I didn't feel like stopping and Googling how to knit jogless stripes. So I just knit them with jogs and just wove in the ends. So I'm well aware that there are ways to do jogless stripes. I simply did not care. What else about these? My other pair I said was a little bit too short in the foot. These are the perfect length in the foot. I'm interested to see how they wear over time, if my other pair of socks stretches and becomes perfect, or if these are end up being a little big. So that's it. That's all I have to say. Love them. Love sock knitting. I love knitting socks. My last finished object is another wall hanging, I think. I don't know if you're able to see my other one hanging over there in the frame, but I talked about it in my last video. I basically, in an effort to de-stash, have knit these little like granny square wall hanging decor. I knit one using fun like oranges, pinks, and yellows, and then I knit another one that's a little more beachy. I'll include a picture of it. I didn't want to go get it off my wall because it required getting our small ladder out of a closet, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't really want to do that. The daylight, the good lighting in here is kind of fading, and so I wanted to get this filmed. So I'll include a picture of it, obviously, but I knit another one of those. I used, the details are in my Ravelry, but I only used 3 colors this time. I used 3 yarns. I used Knit Picks Cotton in Cashew, Knit Picks Cotton in Sage Brush, and then Ani Blatt Silk Ani. It is a discontinued yarn that was also gifted to me. Where is it? Ani Blatt Silk Ani in the color, I actually have no idea what color it is. I couldn't find it on the label. Either way, it's a discontinued yarn. I used a bit of a bigger gauge, a bigger hook, which gave a looser gauge. Don't love the way that it looks. I love the way my other one looks better. I'll include a side-by-side of them as well. But still, it's very cute. It matches the vibe in there, and it took like an evening to make. So yeah, a great use of stashed yarn, a great way to get rid of yarn. I also have in my Ravelry, I used a YouTube video, which I will link in the description, and it's linked in my Ravelry as well. Just a YouTube video. And then I bought these little like dowels on Amazon and like looped them onto the dowels and then hung them up on the wall. And they're really cute. I am hopeful that I will make more, because like, I'm not joking, it literally takes me like 2 hours to make one of those, which is incredible turnaround time. I love it. And as someone in my, yeah, so that's it. That's pretty good. That's like two stashed yarn projects. On to the works in progress. I have 2 of them. First one, so exciting. This is, these are, well, you can't really tell right now. You can kind of tell. Doesn't matter. These are Teddy Pants by Petite Knit. Don't fall off the needles, please. Teddy Pants by Petite Knit. These are not for me. I'm not pregnant. Don't worry. That would have been in a life update. One of my friends' sisters is having a baby, and I have a lot of stash yarn, a lot of yarn that's perfect for baby knits. So I was like, let me knit the baby something, because she was like, I don't know what to get her, all this stuff, like we should get her something. And I was like, let me knit her something. Like, please, and you can give it to her. You can say you commissioned it or whatever. Oh, there we go. There's the center. The Teddy Pants by Petite Knit. They're so cute. The little pant legs kills me. I'm using, what is this? Knit Picks Stroll in the color Cobblestone Heather. I have a lot of this in stash. This is great yarn. I love using this for Oslo hats. I've never actually made socks with it, but it's really soft. It's fingering weight, held double. It's great for Oslo hats, which I think I purchased this to make an Oslo hat. I had leftover Cobblestone Heather. I purchased a lot more to make an Oslo hat. Then I like decided not to make an Oslo hat with it. I could still make an Oslo hat with the leftovers. Doesn't matter. All that to say, I think it's perfect for the Teddy Pants. It is superwash merino and nylon, I think, is it's technically a sock yarn. I'm using a 2.25 millimeter needle, and I'm making this size 4 to 6 months in the hopes that it will maybe fit a newborn. And I have a couple more centimeters left to work on in the body before I split for the front and the back. And then you finish it off by working like you add little snaps in up here and add a little teddy bear face on the front. This is actually my second pair of teddy pants that I'm making. I had a cousin that had a baby a couple of years ago before I had my knitting YouTube, and I knit my little baby cousin a pair of teddy pants as well. It's just a really cute pattern. And baby knits are like an incredible way, I feel like, for me to use my stash yarn. And they're unsure what the sex of the baby is. So it needed to be a nice gender neutral color. And I felt like this gray was a really good color. I feel like a lot of my knits though are neutral colors. A lot of my stash yarn is neutral colors. So yeah, knit up quite quickly. I've been working on it for a couple of weeks now. This has been my on-the-go knitting project. I don't have a pair of socks going at the moment, but this has been my on-the-go knitting project. Actually, until yesterday, I took it out of my bag because I felt like if I took it with me to my meetings that I was going to finish the body and then have to split for the front and the back. I didn't feel like doing that. I had a different project that I was going to take with me, which I'll talk about next. Yeah, I'm pretty much knitting this to pattern. I have truly nothing else to say about it other than it's a delightful knit. This is a delightful yarn to knit with. It's very, very soft. I love Knit Picks Stroll. Yeah, it's a fingering weight project, so it's taking me a while, but it's just a baby knit. Like, it's not really taking me as long as, like, if I were to make one of these for myself, this would take me like a year to make. You know what I'm saying? Not that I would make teddy pants for myself, but like if I were to, it would take a minute. So that's pretty much it. Easy project to talk about. Okay, next project, something I'm very excited about. This, I think, let me come closer. This is gonna be my last, summer knit. This is, can you see the vision? You can't see the vision? This is the Palm Springs tank by Knit California, or Leslie Forrester, I believe is her real name, but Knit California is her, like, designer name. No, technically on Ravelry it's Leslie Forrester. This is the Palm Springs tank. I'm knitting it using Knitting for Olive cotton merino in navy. I have 3 skeins of these. I originally had planned to make something else with it, but I pivoted for ease and what I felt like I was craving in my wardrobe. I really just wanted like a simple tank top to have as like a base layer. I've been really wanting some like base tank tops, and I originally was going to make Camisole No5 / the twist loop top. But I decided not to. I just wanted something basic. And I didn't want to go through adjusting the sleeve width and all of like the shoulder straps and all that in the crisscross pattern, the cables. I didn't want that. I'm using a 3mm needle for this. I decided, I want to say it calls for a bit of a bigger needle. I want to say it calls for a, what am I using? 3mm. I want to say it's 3.25 or 3.5mm. I wanted the gauge still to be kind of tight-ish, not as loose as what the pattern called for. And I was, how close was I in between sizes? Corresponding to a bust of, yeah, I was at the upper end. I was at the upper end of size medium, and I decided I wanted a smaller gauge. So instead of, I didn't swatch, I'm sorry. I decided to go with a smaller needle and knit a bigger size. So I'm making the size large in the hopes that it turns out more like a size medium, which will fit me. That is my hope. I consider making Camisole No9, I think it is. It's the pattern that's kind of similar to this tank top. However, I actually didn't even read. I should have read and seen how they did it, how she like does it. But the finishing details of Camisole No9 looked exactly like my sweater number 23, I want to say. I love My Favorite Things knitwear and her patterns, but like the naming kills me every time. Okay. So I made sweater number 26 earlier this year. I absolutely love it. One of my favorite things. However, the neck, the like collar detail, the neck detail is gorgeous. It really makes the sweater, but it took me so long to make. There we go. And Camisole No9, that was correct. I was looking at Camisole No9, considering making it, and I knew that the neck edge and the armhole edge, I knew it was the exact same technique. Just looking at it, I was like, that is the exact same technique. And I was like, I cannot do that. I could barely do it for my sweater. I was like, I can't do it for a tank top, neck, and armhole edging. In addition, some of the photos that I've seen of people on Ravelry and online, their detailing on the edge looks a bit puckered. I haven't seen the same thing with the Palm Springs tank. Granted, a lot less people have made the Palm Springs tank because it is a newer pattern. Either way, I felt more drawn to the Palm Springs tank than Camisole No9, for the 2 reasons that I've listed so far. Yeah. As you can see, I'm working on underarm shaping. I have a couple more underarm repeats. I will say I knit about this much in an hour yesterday during one of my meetings. And so it's knitting up a little quicker than I thought. This is currently my on-the-go knit. These are my only two whips. So this is my on-the-go knit. I'm really enjoying working with this. This is my first time using knitting for all of cotton merino in a project. I'm hoping that it can be a transitional knitwear piece. That's my hope for this, that I can wear it under a cardigan. I can wear it to a Mets game when, fingers crossed, the Mets make playoffs. Is that what it's called in baseball? I'm hoping to get some transitional wear out of this, all that to say. I'm also very interested to compare it to the tank tops that I have that are knitting for olive merino and not cotton merino. So very interested, very, very interested to see what it ends up looking like. But I think this will be my last summer knit, which is unfortunate. I bought a lot of yarn for summer knits and have not knit them. So I have a lot of stashed yarn that I purchased to knit summer garments with that I did not get around to knitting, which is unfortunate. I think that's because I was really, really cranking away with my knitting earlier this year. I was making a sweater like every other week, and I would make like an accessory, like multiple accessories a week. I was really flying through the knitwear, and I anticipated that would continue during the summer. And had I continued at the rate that I was going at earlier, that would have been the case. However, I slowed down. I had trips, I had to move, I had to organize, I started working, and so it slowed down. So this will be my last summer knit. I'm fine with that. I'm sad that I have a lot of stashed yarn now. I don't like having a big stash. So, you know, it is what it is. Whatever. What am I going to do about it? I'm just going to make them next summer. We'll see. But yeah, this is my last summer knit. I'll let you guys know how it turns out, obviously, but I'm quite excited about it. This is my first of Leslie's patterns that I am knitting. She has a couple of other patterns that I've seen that are really cute. I've just never made them before. And I absolutely love her Instagram and her YouTube. She's Knit California over on Instagram and YouTube. If you've not checked her out, I definitely would recommend it. I really enjoy listening to her talk about her knitting and looking at the pictures that she's posted. And if this tank top turns out well, would definitely love to make some of her other patterns. So far, the instructions have been great, but I'm really not that far into it. Can't really say. Okay, so that's it for my finished objects and for my whips. I have no acquisitions this time. I'll talk a little bit about future plans, but I feel like my future plans just sort of like when I decide to cast on something, like I just decide what I want to cast on in the moment, and like I go with what I'm feeling, not with what I've planned to do or what I've said I'm gonna do. I did mention that the Palm Springs tank is my last summer knit, so I'm starting to think about fall knitwear. I'm starting to make my queue, decide what's feasible for me. So I'll make a fall knitting plans video in a couple weeks. I'm not sure when I'll get around to doing that. So I'll start thinking about that. I'm gonna keep working on my stashed yarn projects, getting rid of my stashed yarn. I still have a couple more skeins of Dishy. I think I have 3 more skeins. They're all different colors. People gave me some great suggestions and suggested making some bags. I don't really want a 2-colored bag. I don't think I have enough yarn to make one bag. I'm not sure though. No, I'm not sure, so I don't want to push it. So I think I'm going to make a couple of big dish rags to like wipe down surfaces with. And then I want to make some koozies. I've been taking, usually when I make coffee in the morning, this is like, I don't know, maybe like a little too into my daily routine, but usually when I make myself coffee in the morning, I make myself coffee and I have it quickly at my house before I leave and go to work or go to a meeting or whatever. And then usually if I feel like I need a boost, I usually take like an energy drink, like a Celsius or an Alani with me. And then I'll drink that during the day, or I'll go out and I'll get like an iced coffee or something. However, recently I've been making my coffee in a little like mason jar and then taking it with me and then drinking it once I get to work or get to a meeting in an attempt to like delay my caffeine intake so I won't need a midday caffeine break and I can enjoy my coffee over the course of like an hour instead of drinking it very quickly here. I'm telling you this because I want to knit myself or crochet myself a little koozie, a couple of koozies for my mason jar so they don't sweat in my bag and so they don't sweat on the surface that I put them on when I drink them, and also to protect them just in case something bumps into them and they break. I don't want broken glass in my work bag. So, interested in making some koozies. I was looking on Ravelry for some patterns. Let me know if you have like a koozie pattern that you really like, either knitting or crocheting. I would love to know if you have one. Otherwise, I might just DIY it because I haven't found a pattern that I like love. So let me know if you have any patterns, and I'll keep looking on Ravelry and see if I find any others that I like. What else? I also think that I'm gonna make, I think I might make some little baby socks for my friend's sister who's having a baby. I feel like baby socks would be a really great way to use up some fingering weight yarn. Kate Atherley, my sock knitting goddess, she has a baby sock pattern, so I think I'll just make some baby socks. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care what size they are because they're babies. It'll either be just right or they'll grow into it. So I might make some baby socks just to get rid of a little bit of fingering weight yarn that I have. Might make some baby hats as well because I think those would knit up quickly. I haven't like gone through my stash and looked and see if I have any like yarn that would work for this or found any hat patterns or whatever. Either way, let me know if you have any quick small baby knits. Oh, hi Mary. Let me know if you have any baby knit projects or patterns that you really, really like that are like accessories, knit up quickly, I could use some stashed yarn for. Would love. Let me know. What else? In addition, this is lofty. This might be a little bit later, but I think I want to make a Stella quilt cushion with some stashed yarn that I have. I have a lot of this Knitting for Olive merino. I have a yellow, like a coral, and some purples. And I think that would make a really cute and bright, fun Stella quilt cushion. If you've made the Stella quilt cushion before, please let me know if you have any advice. I haven't purchased the pattern yet, or did I purchase the pattern? Either way, I haven't read through the pattern if I've purchased it or not. And I think there's like two options for the back. So let me know if you've made the Stella quilt cushion and you've done one of the two back closures, if you have a strong preference, or if you've just sewn it into like a pillowcase backing and not knit a back, if you know what I'm saying. Let me know. That's sort of what I'm thinking of. I think I can get rid of a good amount of yarn that I've been holding on to for a while with that project. We'll see. It may not happen for like a year, knowing me, but I have the thought and it's in there, so I would like your input and your advice on it. And then, in addition, I do have my tomato socks. I think, did I talk about that? Did I talk about that in a video or was it a post? No, I talked about the yarn in my last podcast. I acquired some tomato sock yarn from Long Dog Yarn, whom I love, and I have swatched for it. I've measured it. I have not input the measurements into the custom sock pattern. However, I will be making myself some tomato socks. That will be my next. Once I don't have an on-the-go project to work on, I will cast on those socks. That's it for my future plans. That was actually a lot more of future plans than I talk about. I'm very like future oriented right now with okay, that's such a psychiatry term. I'm very future oriented with my knitting right now. Like I'm feeling very motivated to get rid of my stash. So I'm thinking a lot about what I can do to knit down my stash and get excited about those projects, like get equally excited about those projects as new projects where I'm looking at purchasing yarn and new patterns and like garments. So I'm trying to get as excited about my stash busting projects as I am about my projects where I need to acquire more yarn for them. So that's what I mean when I'm future oriented about my stash busting, which is good. I love it. So that is it right now for the knitting portion. I will continue to talk about various media that I've been consuming. However, unfortunately, I have to work. Like, I have to go to work now. It's good because I make money, but I have to show up and go to work, so I can't sit and watch TV and read and knit all day anymore like I have been doing for the past couple of months. It's unfortunate, but I'm happy to make money. I can't be a full-time knitter, so whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm very happy where I'm working. I'm very happy with my job and where I'm matched and the people that I work with and the patients that I'm helping. So very happy with that. But unfortunately, it is taking a chunk out of my knitting and my media consumption time. So I'll talk for a little bit about the things that I've been watching recently and my other interests. If you're only here for the knitting, you can cut out now. That's totally fine. No hard feelings. See you in the next video. Love you. Bye. For the chat, as always, I'll start off with F1. I think when I'm recording it now, it's still, no. The Dutch Grand Prix is this weekend. I'm recording this on a Thursday. I think I'll probably release this next weekend, so after the Grand Prix is over. The F1 world has been, at least on my end, kind of quiet. I feel like nothing's really happened, except two icons are back in the game. We have Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez driving for Cadillac. I'm excited. The news dropped the same day that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged, and it was crazy. I found out about the two of them like within an hour of each other. Like I found out about Bottas and Perez, and then my friend texted me, who's also loosely into F1, and she texted me and she was, OMG, did you see the news? And I was like, oh my God, yes, I'm so excited to have Valtteri and Checo back. And she was like, no, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged. And I was like, what? I was like, this is crazy. It was so much good news all at once. And I got my nails done that day, and it was a beautiful day. So in the span of like 2 hours, like so many good things happened. So I'm so excited that they're back, and I love Valtteri Bottas's Instagram photo shoot with him on the surfboard with the Heineken and the American flag. I thought it was AI. Turns out it wasn't AI. It was incredible. I'm so glad he's back in a full-time driver's seat, and I'm really happy for Checo. I really hope he can get his footing again. He can reprove to us that he is an excellent driver, because I think when he left Red Bull, it was like everyone was kind of like down on him, kind of me included. Like he really wasn't getting it done. And now he's coming back to F1. Christian Horner is unemployed, and Checo's back. I can't wait. I'm actually really excited. It was very, very good news. I'm very happy about it. And then, I don't think I did a media review. Actually, no. I know I didn't do a media review last time because my last podcast was so long, because I went so long without filming it. So I guess we could talk about Love Island a little bit. Love Island US. What a bad season. I just watched the reunion recently. It was so bad. They all don't like each other. Everyone's just sitting there like, it's just so bad. It's so bad. Who did I vote for? Who did I vote for at the end? I split my vote. I voted on my phone and my iPad, and I did one vote for Amaya Papaya, and I did another vote for Nick Olandria. I'm happy with how I voted, happy with how it turned out, but like overall there was no love in that villa. Nick and Olandria are like great. I like Nick and Olandria. I'm so happy for them. Who else do I like? I like Shelly at the beginning. At the reunion, she was kind of pissing me off. Never liked Ace. Jeremiah came out on top. Hannah seems good. I like Iris. But Olandria was my girl from day one. And she's from Alabama. She was talking about college football. I was like, I would hang out with her, and I think we would enjoy each other's company. So I don't see that happening, but like if it were to happen, like I think we would vibe. Yeah, that's pretty much it. What a terrible season. What a waste of my time. What a waste. What a waste. What a waste. That's okay. The Valley, I'm still not done with the reunion of the Valley, but I'm very glad Jax is not coming back next season. I think that was a good call, producers. This season was just dark. It was just dark. It was a bummer. The whole season was just dark with the various like divorces and the substance use. Mary. With the divorces and the substance use, and then like there's this like shining light in the corner, and it was Zach and Kristen and Luke. And like I am so happy for Kristen Doty. Like words cannot describe how happy I am for her being engaged, having her baby. I love her. I'm really glad that Nia and Danny are not coming back. They seem normal, but then there's this like weird energy around them. There's this like weird energy sometimes because I really like them. They seem very stable, very normal, very grounded, but then there's a weird energy, and it's hard to get past the things that like Jasmine was saying about Danny, like all of that. I don't know. It was just weird. The whole season was weird. I don't know what's going to go on with it. And then moving on to like a happier note, I am rewatching Vanderpump Rules with my fiance. He, unfortunately, he expressed like loose interest in wanting to watch a Bravo show. And expressed loose interest in wanting to watch Vanderpump Rules. And I literally paused what we were watching and X'd out of it and was like, okay, let's start Vanderpump Rules. So we're in season 2 right now. It's incredible to go back and rewatch. I'm having a great time. I love watching all of it. I love hearing his opinions on it. It's like very fun to go back and to rewatch. So that's taking up like a decent amount of my time. I'm still watching a lot of sports. I'm watching a lot of baseball. I love the Mets. Let's go Mets. Football's about to start. I'm very excited for football to start. Watching some tennis right now. The US Open is going on as I'm recording this. It's just fun. I love sports. I love watching sports. But it can get overwhelming. There's like a lot of sports to watch, and I very much like want to consume all of the media, and if I can't like get fully engrossed in what's going on, then I'm like, what's the point? So it's a good lesson for me because I can't watch every single baseball game. You can't watch every single baseball game. So it's like, you can watch some baseball games and still be into it. And you don't have to watch all the baseball games, Allie. It's okay. It's okay. In addition, I don't have any new books. I need to read my book club book. I'm being really bad about it. I'm just like pretty much waiting for us to set a date for when we're meeting next to start reading it because it's kind of a small book. I don't even want to talk about it because I haven't started it and I have no idea what it's about. Which is my favorite thing about being in a book club is somebody picks a book and then I read it and I have no idea what it's about. I have no expectations for what it's going to be like, what the vibe is. I just start reading it and I see where it takes me. It's like one of my favorite things about being in a book club. So that's really fun. Have I seen any new movies? No, I saw the new Fantastic Four with Pedro Pascal. And my fiance is really into Marvel. He really likes Marvel. I like Marvel movies. I like action movies, but I'm not like super into Marvel. So we went out on a cute little date night, saw Fantastic Four. It was cute. Natasha Lyonne was in it, and that was incredible. I love seeing her on the screen. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I haven't been watching a ton of new stuff recently. What did we watch last night? Oh, we watched the reunion last night. My rotation that I've been on the past 2 weeks, it was 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Friday, but I usually ended up leaving because we would do sign out. I would end up leaving around like 8:30 or 8:45, and then so I would get home at about 9:30. I would shower and eat, and then by the time I like showered and ate and everything, it was probably about 10 o'clock, and then I would have to be up at the hospital again. So I like we would watch like half an episode of Vanderpump Rules, and then I would go to bed. So the past 2 weeks I haven't really been watching a ton of stuff. And then my mom came and visited last week, which was really fun. So we were out and about doing things with her, which was very exciting. We've been taking Mary Jane to the park a lot, which is great. She has been going off leash on the off leash areas at the designated times, which is very fun. It's been a while since we took her off leash anywhere, and so we were worried about how she would do, if she would still remember her recall, but she has actually gotten better. I don't know if you can see her. Did you just eat? Did you have some good BB food? She's gotten better with her recall, and we're so proud of her. She did so well. So we've been taking her to the park a lot. We've been going on lots of walks. The weather's been absolutely gorgeous here the past couple of weeks. And then, so I haven't been, which is good, I haven't been like consuming a ton of media. I've been out and about doing things and then trying to knit and then unfortunately working. But either way, I think that's all I'll say for now. That's all I'll ramble about. I feel like this wasn't as long of a podcast. Ugh. Excellent. Sorry if my position kept changing. The last time I recorded something, my phone ran out of space halfway through, so it cut off what I was saying, so I kept going to check and make sure I was still filming and it was still recording. Anyways, hope you're enjoying your knitting. Hope you're enjoying the weather. I'm starting to get excited about fall. I hope. Either way, I think I've rambled enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, let me know what you're knitting on. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're watching. And I hope you're enjoying the weather, whatever season you're in. The seasons are about to change. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're knitting accordingly. And happy crafting. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.